I would like to just switch off my camera for better bandwidth. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, your screen is visible, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here I go. Friends, basically, you may be undergoing since 2-3 days the different kind of presentations which engineering point of view you might have seen. But basically, when I say the things for any life cycle of the product or life or any build spaces, we have 5 very important elements like Mahapanchabhutas. So in our particular construction, normally we say the planning, designing, execution, operation, and maintenance. These 5 are very important. These 5 elements are very essential for the better life cycle. So where we really play an important role as a material scientist or a civil engineer, that role when it starts. Is it at the time of planning or designing or execution or operation or maintenance? So earlier we had no discrimination or the differentiation between the things age old, because when you see about 800,000 years back, the master builder was to take care of everything. And today we have masters of every element, building masters are there. So for me as an architect, definitely concrete is a material, one of the material, and then which can be used in the different form. And after water in the world, the concrete is the most utilized material. And so that's why I thought I should take this particular subject in a different way, because the making of concrete, the quality of concrete, and then the placement of concrete, and then the durability, serviceability, the entire thing is on the other side. But initially that starts from the planning. So the cycle starts, as per me, with the planning, and for the build spaces, architectural planning is must. So let me begin with a little bit of architecture, so that you will have some idea when we really think how to go about it. So it's general that architecture is considered as a just art. But friends, let me be very frank, architecture is not just piece of art. It's much more than that. And for me, not primarily, it is not even the solution for a problem, but making of a statement. So we need to understand how that is acting in the day-to-day life. You have seen in the pandemic period, every space, every inch of a space we are experiencing. And it may be preserving our body temperature, it may be even generation of forms. And in fact, when I say forms, you have seen right from the ancient days that may be igloo, that may be any tent. We need to understand the form and then material. So in fact, form, which is the visible shape or the configuration of anything. A form has to be there to know what exactly that object is. And for civil engineers, the structure, naturally, which is the arrangement and the relations between the elements of something complex. And when you see in the ancient days, we started from the Stonehenge a few thousands of years back. Now that Stonehenge, we have reached to the tallest concrete structure in the world, that may be Burj Khalifa in Dubai, or any other structure, that may be building, that may be any communication tower, that may be chimneys. So we are in the concrete age. In fact, we are presently, we can say that we're in the concrete age. So from the natural rock to the artificial rock, we have come. Now we have our intelligence, a natural one. We have artificial intelligence. So which is taking care of what that we need to see. In fact, being teachers and being faculty, you may be interacting with the young minds, isn't it? So their mindset is entirely different, and they are in par with the gadgets. So as I said, after water, concrete is the mostly used material. So really, to understand an idea or the concept or the realization, for me, the design is important. The design, the desire, the trend is important. So to the today's topic, now it's a decorative concrete. What exactly it means, how that can be utilized in the model structures, what are the structural elements, what are the non-structural elements, what we can go. So that particular thing we will just see today through with the help of some slides. So friends, design is a very important thing, which is the ability to imagine that which does not yet exist. Actually, to make it appear in concrete form as a new, that we need to understand what exactly the real world requires. Now, designing for me is to initiate change in the man-made things, because see, which is first, diagnosis first or medication first? Technical disturbance is there. Anyway. Can they mute?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So let me continue. Now, for me, the design is a profession that is concerned with the creation of the products. That may be any product. That may be a computer. That may be a mobile. That may be our objects day to day you use, and including what today we are talking about, the build spaces. That may be volumetric construction. That may be different types of build spaces. So we must understand the role with respect to for the welfare of the natural environment. We need to keep natural things intact, and then we can go for any kind of a design. So as per me, design plays a vital role. But before design, we have something called as an analysis. We may be having something like like a diagnosis. Now it's a structure. See, before design, structural design, we have structural planning. But before structural planning, we have architectural planning. That starts with the conceptualization. Now, when we say conceptualization, on what basis and where you are designing, what you are designing, so that entire process we need to understand. In fact, so when I say categories of design, so before I go into a material, naturally, we need to understand what is design. Now, in that, there are so many that may be, for example, communication design, web design, or you can say information design, education design, environmental design, in fact, interior design, or if I go for auditorium and all, sound design. So if you have some kind of a hospitality sector, we need services in place, then interface is required. Experience design is also there. If you have some kind of a publication, we have to have some kind of a write-up, then editorial design we need, topographic design you need user experience design. So game design, emotional design, strategic design. So above all, today we have software design. So which is entirely helping us to do the engineering design and all. So before going further, we must understand the categories of design, so that definitely we can play a important role based on our own domain. Friends, you can see this piece. The moment I see, you may be saying this is some kind of a metal. So this is a gold piece. This gold, when it comes from the mine, it has to have some process. So naturally, when the gold is processed, then we get some kind of this form. So based on the quality of the the metal, purity of the metal, we say it's 24 karat or 24 karat or 22 karat or 18 carats. But normally this is in the pure form. Now, when I get this, then I go further with the requirement that maybe even these ornaments. So the processing starts. So here design comes in picture. But the before design, the requirement comes in picture. I think concrete and gold, they are almost right from the beginning they are there. In fact, we can see in the metallurgical, even they are playing the importance like a clothing. They had clothing, or they had entire body they used to cover with the gold ornament. So the requirement, how it goes, we need to understand. In fact, when you see this what to say, Golden Temple, this entire cladding of that particular structure was done by gold sheets or gold plates. So this is, you can see here, this is the building, and this building normally in construction point of view, material-wise point of view, same, but this particular type of building, when we clad, that became golden. You can see the reflections, you can see the sanctity of that. So we must understand the material, how to go about it. So in fact, today we are using gold for teeth also, bracing also. The purpose may be same, but we have some kind of elegance and beauty we need. So definitely, why you should not use this as a decorating piece? It's not only for the ornamentation, but that serves as a purpose. That serves as a requirement of the medical things that may be how the ingredients. So there are so many ingredients which are going on changing right from the ancient days. So today we may be having manufactured sand, we may be adding some kind of egg mixtures, we may be adding some kind of a fly ash. So fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and then binding material, and then cementitious material. So these all are changing due to the advancements of technology, advancements of the research. That's what we hats off to the teachers and academicians, those who are continuously upgrading on updating on the same, and providing the different quality of material in different quantity in affordable manner to the industry. That particular thing to in fact use it. So how to go about it? Then this particular thing is made. Say today we are using ready mix concrete or some kind of we started as a cast in situ, but today we have latest technologies which can be in fact used for the making of concrete. So this is very important when it comes to the making of concrete. So then we change the forms. There we had the biscuit form. Here we have cubes. Now these cubes, maybe to test the cubes, we might have done it, but we can make different sizes of the shapes of the blocks, which can be used for the masonry work. And it has replaced what to say stone masonry, which used to be natural rock. So it has replaced by artificial rock, which is concrete, in fact. So when it comes to the concrete application, friends, believe it or not, whatever material we are making, for an architect or for a designer or the person who is trying to apply, definitely he takes care of the of the design requirements and the material available. So it's the period gone that 1:2:4 or 1:1.5:3 or 1:4:8 we what used to say. It has come much ahead now. Naturally, the modern structures are not like earlier structures, because the earlier structures were having the different requirement. Then today we have a different requirement. We can't compare with the pyramids or which were solid at that time, but today we have voids. We are going towards more of a functional spaces. So we must understand the requirement. What we can make, some structural elements, some non-structural elements. With some kind of different ingredients or design mix, we can make a lot of things. So this is what we can make with the concrete. Even I can make these things, the statues, and even some kind of a load-bearing walls and some kind of a huge, ornamentation, which we are not seeing today, but in earlier days. Can you imagine where the laboratories were there, or where the equipments were there, or where these machineries were there, but they had passion. They had some kind of imagination which was beyond our present situation. So we can see how those things were exposed. That's what I say. Without covering anything, if you are doing that is exposed, for me, it's a decorative concrete, or it's an architectural concrete. If you are doing extensively good work and if you are wrapping it something, then there is no meaning as a designer or as a architect. But here you can see the concrete applications can be varied. It's not only vertical surfaces, it's not only horizontal surfaces, but it can be for any incline or any shape. So that is the see. Anyhow, we are using concrete like a water in quantity, but we are also able to use concrete like a water, because water can be used in any form, isn't it? So it flows. So we can make our concrete also in the form of the parameters parallel to the water, so that the designer has more ease to work. The designer has more freedom to conceptualize, and boldly he can design. So you can just see how the pyrography works, how the geometry works, how the shape works, how the color pattern works, how the balancing of the elements you can join, how this composition of squares and lines you can do, how this parametric construction. Because of the digital tools, we have lot of ease to design now. So we have a lot of ease in the making of the molds. So that's the way concrete is used now. So based on the requirement, the concrete is also designed. So that's what the product today, what we are seeing. So in fact, these beautiful seating arrangements, or these wavy structures, or this tub, even you can see the lighting shade, what we can see is in concrete. In fact, the different types of shells and complex structures with different kinds of molds and whatnot, we can do right from the outdoor to indoor to anywhere in the world, or in fact anywhere in the globe we can do it. In fact, we are thinking of Mars, we can think of any planet where we can go for the concrete, which is a special concrete. In fact, this a new, friends? We knew about the ancient days, but we have in India, which is one of the richest in the architecture, right from the Taj Mahal to Mumbai's breathtaking skyscrapers. There is no limit. In fact, we have incredible structures which can be found across the country. And what you are seeing is, this is Chandigarh. I like this city not due to just planning, not due to some kind of a civic sense there, but the buildings which were designed, about 100 years back, they are actually, there's about 2016, I think, that the city was designed. You can see the architect behind the city, Lee Corbusier. So he used exposed concrete. He used a variety of concretes at that time. That is about 2016. Around 1916 or something. This particular thing was post independence. That is about 1947 and onwards, when Jawaharlal Nehru conceptualized this. So it's about 60 to 70 years now. So even that got about UNESCO World Heritage Award in 2016 in SIPS. In fact, the Ramappa Temple, which is more than 800,000 years, we got the UNESCO World Heritage Award recently. But the capital complex of Chandigarh we got in 2016, which is about, again, 70, 60 years old. So that's why we say old is always gold. In fact, the trend is coming back. And here you can just see how the concrete were used and how we are using. In fact, here you can see this is a natural rock, Kalahasti temple, more than 1,000 years old. And this particular thing on your right, this is designed by us, the Ramanarayanam in Vijayanagaram, which is a mythological park. So here we have extensively used the concrete, different types of concrete. We have used for the molds, we have used for the post-tension structures, we have used for even regular slabs and beams, and even balustrades and all. So here, this is with artificial rock, or the present concrete, and this is with natural rock, or the ancient days. In fact, here you can see one of the oldest structure, which is you can't say it's a copy or replica, but the influence of this particular design was on the Parliament Bhavan, which is again in concrete and stone. Friends, we must understand the material is first, or the design is first, or what to say, what follows what. So here you can see the geometry of the body or the human being, even though you have different joints and all, how that acts. Actually, we must understand when, what, why, or where, and how the importance of these materials or these joints and these fixtures we need to understand. So, the structural system. So we must understand how the counterparts they really see it. So naturally, when I say the historical perspective, friends, somewhere we lack in our education methodology in terms of engineering, because we all are faculty, and even I am also faculty, but basically I go for architecture and then design as a design faculty. There we see a lot of history. We learn the history of architecture or the history of that particular structure, that may be site analysis, that may be material analysis, or how, because if you know that, then you can restore them, or rehabilitation can be done. So today in the engineering, even if you ask the 10 names of structural engineers in the past, it's very difficult even to tell 2-3 names. So that is the problem with this current system. So what I feel, if really you need to know the structures earlier, that may be caves, that may be Mahabalipuram temple, or that may be a modern temple at Yadadri. We must understand the methodology of selection of the material, how the load path is there. In fact, the architect which conceptualized the project, he sees mainly a sun path, orientation of the building or orientation of the space based on the sun and wind and climatology and all. But for a structural engineer, for a civil engineer, the predominant is a load path. And how that, apart from the climatic impact, the load path is very important for the structural engineer. So that's what we need to integrate both, and then we can have, that's what the civilization also developed accordingly. So we must understand what exactly goes behind that. Friends, before I really go to the material, I should know what the structure is. Naturally, it's an integral part of the designing architecture. Here you can see different structural system that may be load-bearing, that may be non-load bearing, because you have fenestration, we have cladding, we have some kind of architectural elements, or we have solid walls, we have hollow spaces. So it's a combination. It's like a elements combination, and then we get some kind of a functional space. And if I'm talking more about a building, then these are the elements. If you are talking about the bridges, if you are talking about the aqueducts, we are talking about dams, then naturally there we have again load bearing and non-load bearing structures. So we must understand, we have to take the material is also accordingly. Friends, I know there are so many number of ways of the structures, but based on the type of structure, based on the structural systems, based on the form, that may be one-dimensional, that may be two-dimensional, that may be three-dimensional, which is very important to be understood by the structural engineer and the material scientist, because the material gives the properties, or the material is going to help us to resist the loads. Naturally, what is good in tension, what is good in torsion, or what is good in the compression, how to combine it, whether we want to go for a composite structure, that we need to understand. So in fact, the application-based structures are there, and elements-based structures are there, whether it's underground or whether it's above ground, where it's going to be placed, with what angle we are going to be placing it. So that is very important. And above all, the material. Now, the material is entirely governing the planning to the life cycle of that particular structure. So earlier we had timber, then concrete, metal, aluminum, masonry, then the different glasses came. Then we have adobe and then composite. So today we are using all types of advanced materials which are available at a click now. Because earlier it was not there, but today the digital world, the logistics is playing vital role. The advancement in the mechanism of making it is also very important. So today we have the combination of this. We can say smart materials. In fact, we can say the smart materials era we are going through. In fact, whether it's a smart, whether it's a any area, for us, the geometry, structure, and architecture is very, very important. Imagine the possibilities of the things. Friends, we must understand the feasibility. We must know the functionality. We need to be innovative. We have to be sustainable because we need to keep our material present or the nature for the next generation. We can't have totally for us. So we need to use technology because there are endless possibilities. Friends, always I say correct is beauty, but beauty is not always correct. So what we are following, what we are not following, even if you take a small example of your specs or shade, if you are having beautiful shades, that is okay. But if you are having beautiful frame, but with no proper, lens, then it's not correct. So beauty is and correctness that we are to understand. In fact, when I say architectural structure, we must understand the combination between the two. There should not be any border between. So we must have integrated design approach to have better utilization of any material. In fact, the structure and architecture, they are the key components in shaping of any building or in fact any formation of any structure. In fact, today we are seeing architects' role even in the infrastructure, that may be bridges, that may be, in fact, recently our Telangana government also announced to give the proposals for the Musi redevelopment work, where they wanted to introduce bridges across the, it's not Nala, but it's a river. Today we are just feeling that it's a Nala, but it's not. It's a wide, beautiful river. So we need to restore the glory of that by introducing different kinds of structure. Friends, believe it or not, when the architect comes up with the complex structure that may be heritage, but are you going to use the heritage design with the that material or the present material? When am you going to use the high performance concrete? Do you need really that sizing? So it's a challenge. So we need to integrate both the things so that we can come up with the better ideas. In fact, you can see today we, in the 1.5 years pandemic, we spent a lot of time inside. In fact, many of us, we are spending time inside now also, especially kids. What is their play? They are just playing on screen. They are spending a lot of time on screen. They have more screen time. But earlier days, we used to play this. If you remember, with each element we used to put, it's a small plate element we used to put, and we used to have these funny things and going hours together, playing without power, without any, charging. So we used to have our, food and we used to play. So this is what our architecture structure, what we had earlier and what we are developing today, we need to understand. In fact, as I said, element wise, that particular element as a single, it may not be giving the resistance to the required forces what we apply. But when it comes a form, when you create some kind of a geometry, naturally the load bearing capacity is more, the resisting capacity is more. So we must understand the elemental value, that's a local value, to the global as a whole. So, as I said, when I use some kind of a material, I need to understand the parameters of that. So then we can have some kind of a different. And this is not any new. thousands of years back, the people, they have used the concrete, or it's artificial rock, but at that time it was played by the solid stone. In fact, I can see this like a PCC or some kind of a fiber cement concrete, where they had huge masses. But how they did this, how they transported this, how they lifted this, how they placed it, that is very important. So today it's a challenge to even go for a small nominal sunshade, but at that time they could do it. So we need to learn not many things from the earlier days. In fact, express the structure as a function. At that time, the function was different, such as pyramids and all. The pyramids, they are the oldest buildings in the architectural history, which were the symbol of survival and sustainability. But today, you can see the pyramid, which is hollow. The geometry is same, but inside we have the spaces. Inside we are using for our functionality. Earlier we had only solid, that was some kind of a monumental thing. But today we can't afford that, and today the requirement entirely is different. So we must understand really the present requirement, and then material can be developed like that. So buildings and structures are inspired by the nature, technology, and science. Naturally, every material we are getting from the nature, every idea we are getting from the nature. So in fact, still today, if you go to the sites, we try to play with this sand. If it's wet sand, then we even create some kind of a different murals. In fact, award-winning murals also there. But this is the simplest. Even small kids, they play and they make some kind of a void, and they may say that this is my small space to live for that maybe for bird or something. But this particular inspiration got to Tadao Ando, who is one of the world-renowned Japanese architect. In 2017, the work was extensively published. But here you can see it's about 1.5 lakh square feet carpet area with 40 meters tunnel, which you go inside. Even that particular statue, it is about 13.5, about 40 to 50 feet. So we can see the massive scale. But I resemble this with the sand model what we saw in the nature. So we must understand. In fact, when it comes to the structure as an articulation, friends, for you or for me, maybe the load is important. When I say based on the deflection criteria, based on the spans, based on the height, based on the different load resisting parameters, we have this kind of a structure. It can be a plane, it can be some kind of a theme. Here you can see how the articulation, how the sciography is playing the vital role. In fact, these small changes, or this kind of rhythm we can create by properly integrating the material, design, and then concept. So we can, in fact, today the world is for optimization, because we always feel that we should use less and we should get more. And today we have digital tools, we have simulation facilities, we have laboratories, we have prototype model making. In fact, we can have so many sensors, and we can develop organic shapes, because in nature we have very very much to learn. In fact, trees can give us a very important lesson, how the tree seashore is there, how the trees are there in the deserts, how we can study their stem and their load-bearing capacity. So that particular typologies we can optimize, in fact, in our buildings, which is the latest trend, in fact. So friends, as you know, in general, we have concrete floor systems. There are a variety of concrete floor systems, but based on the deflection criteria, based on the spans, we can have this depth of the beam. But for functional spaces, we need to have proper height. So for proper height, just somebody is waiting. Admit. Okay. So there are so many people there slowly adding up. Okay, we reached 97, 98. We may be reaching now the century. Anyway, so here we have the same spans. You can see 4 columns. We have this different structural system or beams and secondary beams grid. Here we have drop panel and flat slab, only flat slab, rib slab, and then one-way slab. So here, based on the deflation criteria and structural requirements, we may be varying the slab thickness. We may be varying in the beams and sizes, beam sizes and all. So here the material plays a very, very important role, because naturally when it comes to the selection of the system, here you can see how the, if I go for the post-tensioning of structures, here for me, this is very important. Because every 10 floor, if I add 10, if I save 10%, I get additional floor. It means for just by structural design, just by use of properly the concrete grades and reinforcement and design, I can save the height by 10% what is required for one floor. Means 10% is every 10 floors, I get one floor. So that is what economy we get. So if you construct about 40, 50 or 60 stories building, naturally we are getting about 5 to 6 floors extra, which can make us affordable, and naturally the elegance also comes. So we have different kinds of structural system. As I said, the heights can be accordingly. So what we are going to get the clear height, you can see that maybe one-way concrete joist, and then we can think of one-way concrete slab with the beam floors. Then we can have one-way solid, concrete solid slabs and all. So how to utilize that, and then we have slab, only slab, flat plate concept. Then we have drop panels with the flat plate, and then we may be going for regular two-way beam and all. So based on, even we can have waffle slabs, which is elegant, and earlier we used to use that in many of the systems before this post-tension and precasting system came into affordable nature. So friends, here you can see the decorative concrete, which is developed into one of the most important means of the design in the modern architecture. No other building material can be used and processed in such a versatile manner. You can see this about 20, 25 years old structures, how elegant those things are. So how the color of that, and how vibrant, and in fact, how this sciography that creates the vibrancy in the spaces. So that we need to understand the use of that. In fact, imaginative, inspiring, and catches the eye. The decorative concrete provides a connection to the landscape and the building, that may be farbing, placing, and finishing to the exacting quality standards. Because decorative concrete has more of a QA and QC. So naturally, the productivity will be accordingly. In fact, the concrete can take almost any form, any texture can be developed on that. In fact, today, due to the advancement in the pigmentation or pigments, we can achieve any color, and in fact, it enhances the appearance of the building or any structural or functional requirements. So, as per me, the decorative concrete offers this different range of the surfaces that may be smooth to rough, or the spectrum of colors, as I said. So, concrete that while providing the aesthetics, the building also serves as a functional system. That is what architectural or decorative concrete, whatever you are doing, that if I use it properly, if I use the proper formwork, if I use the proper methodology right from the beginning into the end, the same product, what you are delivering to us, what you are designing for us, we can bring it more of an aesthetic appeal, which can be iconic way. So I think decorative concrete typically refers to the concrete flat work or the building elements, such as that may be panels or even textures and colors and systems which can be developed in a different way. In fact, you can see the plus architectural and the decorative concrete, which delivers up to 33% savings when compared to the bricks and other materials. So it's a very, very important task today to go for the decorative concrete rather than just construct and then cover it by so-called composite paneling or high pressure laminates like HPLs, or just wrap it with something which is not durable as a concrete itself. So we today is the need where we can bring the concrete exposed. We need to bring the concrete out. That is a separate, special surface. So we have the benefits of this because concrete is locally produced and widely available. It has unmatched durability. It has superior strength and many features that support sustainable development. Because today we are talking about the green and sustainability in rating of the buildings. We have different rating systems in that also. Today the concrete is making a lead role. In fact, cost, installation, and maintenance advantages when compared to the others, naturally that is in par or in sometimes less than that. Friends, we have a few more advantages of the decorative or architectural concrete, which has that match virtually any natural texture, color, or finish. You can, in fact, you can see here, if once you done with it, you can't even see whether it's you can't identify. Common person can't even identify how it is. Whether it's a natural or artificial or made with what material. So the creative, imaginative, solutions we can have confidently match finishes surface from batch to batch, because in the natural things we may not be having that uniformity, but in the artificial things, or we are making a decorative concrete, we can have this uniformity. You can match the things so that you can do the seamless activities. So the scratch resistancy or permanent finishes that can be really developed in the decorative concrete. And as I said, up to 33% we can save on it. In fact, the concrete, which is enduring, comfortable, and beautiful hardscapes, you can see how these things are developed. And for driveways, you can use pool decks, you can use other exterior environments, you can use decorative concrete treatments have become an increasingly popular choice now. Because today, if you go to the resorts, if you go to any common spaces, if you go to even villas, even if you go to a gated community, the use of concrete is making a lot of presence. So here, as an academician or as a researchers or developers, we must understand the requirement of the society, because anyhow the requirement, in the sense the user's mindset is very important. From there it really comes, because today we are having a lot of change in the mindset due to easily we can see any part of the world, any part of the globe on screen. So we know the development. It's not local. We can sit in the local and think of a global. And coming to earlier, we used to say, no, concrete is very, very dull, and concrete is very, boring material. No, it's not. Concrete is a material. In fact, I can compare that with any rich material like platinum, gold, and silver. In fact, I know the impression of the color and the message it conveys is utmost importance in creating the psychological mood. If something is dull, we may be thinking that atmosphere is dull. Continuously, we are to have the same ambience and all. We need some kind of change. Then the color came. The color things, and we can have any color in the concrete. So that is what integrally colored concrete. That is what the present requirement is. Definitely, you can develop. So, friends, but color, for me, white is also color. So white cement concrete surfaces, in fact, that is iconic. In fact, I always compare the politician, their leadership is on one side, but their costumes, their dress, they wear a white kurta, pajama, or they wear a white attire, so that that is comfortable for them. And they use normally cotton and all, or linen and all. So they are standing out. Even if about 1,000 people are there, this person will come as an outstanding person. So anyhow, they are outstanding, but this is one of the best thing with the white cement. So we need to use it properly. Even if you are giving us a very good proper white cement and white material or concrete, but I need to use it properly. So here the integration comes right from the conceptualization to the usage. So today we have stamped concrete, because nothing beats in the appeal of traditional slate, brick and stone paving unless the appearance of these popular favorites is combined with the concrete's long-term performance and economy of installation. Friends, as I said, we can do it with the less expense, but the people will accept it if it's in par with the natural things. So we must take it in a way that is required. Naturally, the technology, the skill, technology on one side, but the skill is another side. So if you visit the Las Vegas or top-notch malls in the world, they're all are in processed flooring, concrete flooring itself. So there the staining, skinning, and stenciling works are very, very impressive. So here the flexibility of concrete to get the seamless or jointless flooring, that is very important. So right from the industries, right from the airport pavement to the indoor microscopic level, even nanoscopic level, we can see and we can achieve the concrete surfaces today with the decorative concrete, which is really under the consideration now. So exposed aggregates is also one of the requirement today, because the non-slippery surfaces where you need to avoid the skidding of the people and all. So there you can use the exposed aggregate. So that is also coming up today, and we can do it. In fact, decorative floorings, as I said, it's a variety of options and textures and colors for the finishing that is aesthetic, durable, and economic. They are doing it. There are some advantages. No doubt, there are some disadvantages, but the applications based on the advantages, if you really do it properly, then you can have it for the pathways, walkways, driveways, joggings, swimmings, terraces, parkings, play areas, entrances, and industrial and warehouses, and even this IT areas where the construction area is less because of the towers and the more of a space. So the combination of the high-rise buildings, then landscape, in that softscapes and hardscapes, it's very, very important to go about it. It's not just concrete which is supplied in the mixer, but we need to understand the basic requirement, and then you make the design. I think for me, the cloth making, an assorted gamut of linen shirt fabrics. So if I close my eyes and feel the texture, is on one side. If I open the eye and see the texture, that is on the other side. But friends, the color matters. Definitely, if the same material, if I'm wearing the shirt of white color, and if I go and stand in the sun, and if I wear a black color, and if I go and stand in the sun, definitely the thermal properties are different. You understand that. So we must know how to go about it. So here the textile design comes in picture. Here the structural engineer and architectural combination works out. Here you can say engraving. I can't have a regular concrete and do it, but we need to specially design this concrete and cementitious products which can be engraved. So there are ranges of things available in the market, and these things are common which are engraved. This is the engraved. Today the world is three-dimensional. We have even we are going to the fourth and fifth dimension. So here we can use the engraved materials in a different variety of the uses, which is based on the requirement. This is the plain surfaces. This is called as a hue, and here you can see how the just a minute. People are still. So available in the broad palette, we have different colors, and how can you use it, and how can you customize it, and how can you just develop these things, and this can be used how it looks. So based on the industrial usage, or based on the terrace, or based on the pavements, you can just develop these things accordingly. In fact, we have coarse, as I was saying, these are the coarse material to have a textured finish, non-slippery finish, and these are the bare, these are the exposed gravels where you can have anti-skid properties, where you can have some kind of a grip over the walking and even driving. So these are the coarse examples, and these are the bare surface examples where you can conveniently make it happen. Friends, I was starting with a pattern. I was talking about the conceptualization is very important, because even if we create a stone gray plus carbon gray combination, say for example, material, but how can I use it? As I said, the clothing is important. I can see here how the patterns can be developed, because the visual, see, one is on utility, the other thing is visual, because aesthetic plays a vital role. We can't go away with that. So we need to have good food, good clothing, good shelter, and even good Wi-Fi today. In fact, the fourth element is Wi-Fi. If you don't have proper Wi-Fi, I can't reach you properly. In fact, clothing, shelter and food. So these things are developed. They are essential. But today we need to go one step ahead, and we need to understand what are the requirement of the people, and accordingly we need to develop. So here I go with about 7-8 slides, how the things changes. So for example, the same area, if I go for Comber pattern, this looks like this. If I go for some kind of a dribble pattern, so the same things, if I have a making of a tile and the lines are different, the look is different. Actually, vertical, say if somebody is short and if he wears the vertical shorts, like vertical line shirt, we see him as little taller. And if somebody is taller, and if you use the horizontal strip shirt, he looks little shorter. So here also, based on the spaces, we can even think of some kind of a pattern which plays definitely a vital role. And this is a flux pattern, that may be combination plain and patterns texture. So we must understand the requirement of that space. And this is a trill pattern. This trill pattern looks different. And in fact, inclined patterns, these are only lines. But even though material is same, the size of the tile is same, or the coverage is same, the making process is same, laying is same, the pattern definitely matters. So that's what we need to understand, the rivet lines, how the things are required. So in fact, this slant skews, even here you can see the transverse lines. The same area, the small lines makes a lot of sense. Zigzag line, and this is what the decorative concrete can play important role. And here you can see the stamped concrete. Here we can have the different stones-like structures. We can have a regular, or you can have irregular. That depends on the craftsmanship. So, but if the usage of the people use and the acceptance increases, definitely. Definitely. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here you can see this is the one of the unique wood pattern. Can you think really to have wooden things at a present day? No, but if requirement is there, if I feel that this pattern should come, this entirely can be achieved in the concrete. These are all concrete and stamped and processed the flooring. So just long lasting, and we have like olden times. You can bring the same features. So that's what we need to understand. In fact, when at educational level, we must understand what is the process of things, because the application process is very important. Because if you don't know how to do the application, then it's very difficult. So these are the methods of the statement sheets where you can have the methodology of the requirement. Here you can say the laying of the concrete, here broadcasting color hardeners, and then stamping on the concrete and application of the sealants. So there is a method to do it everything. It takes about 8 days. So when you lay the concrete road, you have seen outside, but when you lay these floorings and we must understand these, and in fact, the quality assurance, material specification, concrete performance, execution, and then site inspections and site preparation and surface preparation is very important. Concrete placement is important. Consolidation and leveling is very utmost important. Then the finishing methods, what kind of methods you are using for the finishing, that is important. And then the surface retarder application is important. Washing is important. As I said, architectural group patterns, variety of patterns are available. How those things can be achieved, that is important. Then control of joints is needed. Curing and protection is, and above all, the sealer application. Once you do all these things, the product will long last. Because otherwise, if you are having some kind of a drawbacks in one of these things, then maybe that life cycle and the productivity is not good. That is what we need, because presently, even if in some place we are lacking, then definitely the productivity goes and the quality goes, and people won't accept that. So that is the difference between the decorative concrete and machine-made already material. So we need to develop the skills. We need to develop the mindset of the workers to achieve these things, and we need to have continuous trainings. We need to have continuous workshops for them, how they go about it, and they can have because general cleaning, addressing the top stains, and maintenance of the stamps concrete, how we have to do, how this resealing is done, how even to clean it with the usage of mild detergent, because every detergent is not good for concrete, because we must understand what chemical reaction is going to be on the surface when you drop it. So we must educate the people, because even if you take a cotton sari, you have a different maintenance. If you have a georgette sari, different jean pant, you have different silk clothing different. So we need to understand whether it's to be dry washed or whether it's a wet washed, and so naturally the thing comes. Friends, before we really go a little further, the glowing concrete is also very important today, because people are coming up with the luminescent aggregates, and they are going to be very, very common now. In other countries, it's common used, but here also in some pathways where you can really opt it, and if affordability comes, naturally the usage will be more. In fact, you can see the glowing concrete day and night. Daytime, where this 3 to 5 mm glow aggregates looks like this in the night view, and here 10 mm glow, this is like this. So definitely this is going to be a future of the decorative concrete. And in fact, where can we use the residential complex? You can use hotels and resorts. You can use shopping complex. You can use, and where in nighttime, if it's lighting is not there, you can walk accordingly. In fact, you can have building surroundings, durable solutions, and easy installation, low maintenance, and design possibilities for the architecture is too high. So where you can use walkways, pool decks, building surroundings, patios, and gardens and terraces. So friends, applications of these things can be very, very important in coming days. So we must be ready. We must be ready in what way? See, being a structural engineer or a designer or just a service provider to the architects and whatever those builders, we must be ready with our drawings. So drawings are very important. In fact, decorative concrete contributes to the visual character of the structure and must be designated as such in the contract drawings and specifications. All the surfaces to have an decorative concrete appearance must be labeled on the contract drawings in order to prevent controversy during the construction. Because if something is rejected, then we have to throw it out. So we have limitations, but we need to understand those limitations. We have to understand the locations, and then accordingly treat the things. So if you are really equipped with that, naturally innumerable choices of patterns, finishes, colors, oxides and aggregate colors and cement which are available to the designers to achieve the desired effect can be done. So once the desired combination is achieved, the responsibility of obtaining the architectural product is the responsibility of the contractor. So the contractors who are going to execute that also must be equipped, ready with the form work, ready with the skilled persons and all. So in fact, the acceptable surfaces which should be pleasing appearance with the minimum color and texture variation and the minimal surface defects when viewed from about the 6.6 and about 20 feet, we must not see those things. The surfaces such as stairways having close contact with the public specification should certainly have more stringent requirements. As always I say, bridges are iscopic, buildings are telescopic, but interior surfaces are microscopic. And today we are thinking of nanoscopic. So we must understand these requirements, and naturally, according the materials can be used, the finishes and patterns can be used. And then, as I said, if something is far away, you can't make out the things. If something is nearer to you, then you can make out. If, for example, you are sitting the bench, or if you're using the concrete wash basin, then we must take care accordingly. So that is what the thing we need. So the surface can also be textured by removal of the mortar surface in order to expose the concrete and aggregates, which can be one of the processes. Friends, we will go through a few examples before closing the things. The Indian Institute of Management and Business School in Ahmedabad. Earlier, it was designed by architect Louis Khan, which is called as a heritage campus. But after that, architect Bimal Patel, who did the extensive work with the usage of this concrete and brick combination, and it's a new campus. It's an award-winning campus. So here, I feel it's not the supply of material, or it's not the making of material, but it's the integration. The material scientist should sit right from the day one on the board, and he has to participate in the workshop right from the conceptualization, which is little naturally challenging today, but we can overcome if we need to achieve the requirements. In fact, friends, as I was saying, it's a integration. On left side, you can see, if you remember, you can recognize, he's Raj Raval. Raj Raval is one of the noted architect of the country, who has designed very, very important buildings right from the Parliament Library, and then the well-known Hall of Nations. And you can see how the sleek elements, if you see, you feel that these are all concrete elements and steel elements, but these are concrete elements. In fact, the projects which are contemporary architecture, the movement, post-independence architecture, we had very, very good impact of that. And on my right, on your right, you can remember, or if you can see, he's a living legend. His name is Engineer Mahendra Raj. So Mahendra Raj and Raj Raval both worked for extensively complex structures where they had good integration, came up with the beautiful structures. In fact, due to the Pragati Maidan redevelopment, they had to unfortunately remove this particular structure, which was very, very, it's only 50 years old structure, but just see how the integration with the material scientist, like concrete maker, and then structural engineer and the architect, they collectively did this for the exhibition and all. But today they have removed it for the redevelopment. It's a sad story of that, but we have to go with the time. But hope the new structures will be again in par with these things, friends. If I go for a decorative concrete, I can't just go like a regular concrete, but we need to go for some kind of a proper drainage system, because to prevent staining, the drainage water must be restricted, and we must accordingly take care of those things, so that we can have better durability of that. rainwater should be directed away from the architectural phases. Otherwise, those things will be damaging the structure. So we must take care of that. In fact, water. Now, when I say water, water for the decorative concrete, in fact, just I have to admit those people.
Sir, I'm admitting, sir. Please.
You are admitting. I thought I am doing it. Okay, right. So I will do it. So water for decorative concrete cannot contain iron or rust or other chemicals in sufficient quantity to cause staining in the light or white or colors concrete. And the field sample concrete should include the water. We need to study the water quality when you really use it for the concrete production. And if water is used for the curing, it must also meet the criteria. So these things are made compulsorily supervised, and then we can achieve that to have a long-lasting impression of that. So in fact, today the precast concrete facades is common, because you see today the open office systems are when you say commercial complex or the office spaces, or especially in the IT area, we have large spaces, column-free spaces with only facade, that may be with the glass and with the passive method of shading. So we get the shading in this particular double skin. And this is the second skin, outer skin, which can be in a different material. But today, the people are using decorative concrete, or in terms of the precast concrete facades, which gives not only importance to the structure, but you can get it give a very good feature. In fact, when I say the quality assurance, friends, other than site engineers, other than project engineers, we need construction inspectors. So right from the second or third year, if the students are showing keenness in the analysis, design, and then we need to understand the quality control or quality assurance also. So especially for the decorative concrete, the construction inspector must have had prior experience with a similar type of construction. So we need to take that training and continuously monitor, so that the products will be having a large and long durability. Friends, if you go through some kind of structures, how the architect really thinks, the concept of design, concepts of the spaces. So I am one of the favorite architect, Kalantrava, who is again engineer and also architect. He studies the human body. He studies the structural system or bone system in the body, joints and all, or any animal. So basically, he gets the inspiration from the animal structure or human body structures, and he uses that into the building. So he sees that he takes care that the minimum tension will be produced, minimum torsion will be produced, so that the compression elements are more in a form. And then naturally the concrete plays a vital role in the compression, and then he uses that. In fact, we have done in the initial stage, I shown, we did one Ramanarayanam in Vijayanagaram, which is a huge campus, and the aerial, this is like a Dhanushabhan. The bow and arrow. This is the form of this, and this entirely the structure is open to the public since about 10 years, and more than 2.5 crores people they have visited, and it's one of the best tourist place, and even holy place like lower floors they use it for Veda Pathshalas and Parayanam and other things. So it's a different kind of a structure which is in concrete, and we could do it successfully. Friends, even architecture or the concrete structure or the buildings also inspire others. Normally, we take inspiration from others like trees and the human body or the costumes of others, but people, they take inspiration from buildings also. This particular design of the dress is based on the 1927 film of Metropolis, where you can see the structure. that resembles this. So people, they take inspiration from the geometries in the structures. So architect Carlo Scarpa, he designed this particular structure, and then the designer got inspiration from this. So this particular Frank Gehry, Frank Gehry, who is one of the dynamic architect of the world. His forms are very, very complex, but that was inspired some designer, race designer, and this is the output of that. In fact, Zaha Hadid, who is no more now, but she was one of the world's lady architect, a very, very strong lady architect, and challenging structures she did. And then there was a challenge for all the structural engineers and even material scientists. But once the structure was over, they all are iconic. And then that also inspired this designer, and this particular Japanese building inspired this T-shirt, and then landscape and architecture also inspired the dress. You can see which one is dress and which one is nature. It's very difficult to even identify. So these are the inspirations how you get from the different sources. So material is on one side, the inspiration of the forms is on the other side. So we must understand the requirements and go for it. In fact, this is the 21st century evolution or revolution. I don't know who has done it, but if you know, so these buildings are inspired by these dresses, or these dresses are inspired by these dilapidated buildings. Because today the rustic forms, old fallen things are new norms of the interiors. So it's not shocking that tomorrow you may be having facades in this pattern, which shows the modern mindset of the people. So naturally we have to go with the time, but durability, serviceability, strength, and soundness is again the responsibility of us. So we need to maintain that. In fact, technology also matters. The prefabrication system has come. In fact, we have slip forming system. We have top-down construction. We have modular construction, where this entire new materials is going to play important role, because even 3D printing is not developing because of the proper not development of the material which they need for printing. So the days are not far where the researchers will give us the material which can be easily used for the 3D printing. So that can become affordable. In fact, contour crafting is the new technology where we can use it. And above all, friends, we need to have proper substructure. So even the development in the substructure systems that may be in the damp areas or core deserts, we need to develop the material that may be concrete to have more resistance inside the earth also. In fact, many of you know this is the Stonehenge. The Stonehenge, few thousands of years back, but this was in concrete. No, this was in the artificial stone. Now today, this is what I was saying. This is the Stonehenge. Perhaps this is the prehistoric monument which is in the stone. But today in Qatar, you can see the concrete building, which is having about 299 meters, and the famous architect who has resembling this particular thing to the Stonehenge. So even the form, shapes may be same, but the material also plays a vital role. And this is one of the windows punctured board mark concrete facades in the Mexico City, where you can see these curves. Where here the Venturi effect comes. When the air comes from the outside, goes inside in a narrow area, the temperature is maintained accordingly. So these things are, even though elegant, but these controls the climate inside, and we can use it. In fact, high performance concrete is the requirement because of the choice of element size size, the choice of the spans and all, this high performance concrete definitely is going to be a part of the new. And that is what I think you people, in these 4 or 5 days, you will be learning about all these things. And self-compacting, self-leveling, and free-flowing concrete. We talk in many seminars about self-compacting concrete, where the reinforcement is very tedious. We need to take to the every corner. Yes, that is one. That is the structural soundness or structural element we can make it. But as an architect, I can make in a dual way. I can use it as a structural element. I can use it as an external face. So if I go for some kind of a calligraphy, or if I go for some kind of a patterns of the buildings, facades, then that becomes the elevation. So this here I can achieve the economy. Here I can maintain the heritage of the area, and here I can achieve the aesthetics and beauty, and at the same time affordability and usage of the modern material. So this is what in Kolkata, where naturally there is no need of vibration and fewer instances of future repairs. So if you have a good vibration or good compact concrete, naturally the repairs are going to be less, and naturally high-end finishes we get. Natural. And then graphic concrete, yes, the graphic concrete can go on already prefabricated concrete products. Like typically graphic concrete is applied to the sound barriers on pavers. You may be knowing the sound absorption can be more if the area is more. If you have a plain surface, the reverberation and the reflection is accordingly. But if you have a complex structure, if you have the graphic design 3D, then the sound system is absorption is different. So the best example is if you are entering into the empty flat or empty hall, you get resounding. But when you put the furniture, when you place all the material inside, then the resounding is not there. It means the surface area available inside the space increases. That's what we can achieve the graphic graphic concrete. Also, then, as I said, light generating concrete is a new norm. Then translucent cement is also one of the best requirement. 3D printing we can do. Offsite construction is the one of the requirement. In fact, in 29th and 30th, JNTU Hyderabad and NIT Warangal, where I'm organizing a secretary, we are talking about the prefabricated structures. That may be precast, and that may be precast concrete or T-beam steel. So volumetric construction is going to be a new norm. And we are going to get those, minor scale now, medium scale little afterwards, and next year maybe on the major scale, the offsite constructions be a common thing. Friends, high performance concrete for breeze blocks, furniture, and walls is a common. In fact, that can be used for the non-structural elements. And this is one of the facade we designed, which is for Tiger Lily, one of the space which was available. Instead of developing entire thing, only front part they have done it, and the supercast was the casting people. They are expertise in the mold making, and then we made like this in a white concrete, and we use this. But this is attracting many young people or old people, any age people. They are attracting with the simple facade, which is just front of the that particular old building. So in fact, we can go for tabletops. We can go for any kind of interior spaces where you can use concrete. Earlier you used to see in parks and all benches, or some kind of sofa sets and other things, outdoor sofas and all, seating arrangements, that we can do it. If we use a high performance, the thickness can be less. Naturally, we can do the wall cladding. The people are fed up with the artificial claddings like composite paneling or pressure laminations, which has more maintenance and cost. But here you can go for a wall cladding. You can develop the fiber cement boards or some kind of a special composition which can be used interiors and exteriors. Here the academicians and the researchers can take up these as examples and give to the industry, where it can be having more of the rustic use. So here, micro concrete, yes, the micro concrete, as on date, we are using for the rehabilitation, restoration, and repairs of the works. But here we can use in the different paneling system. We can make those things as the furniture panels or elevation panels, which is again the new trend, where you can think of that. In fact, you can see how the pebbles type or free forms. These free forms can be developed if you have proper molds. Then definitely you can create these kinds of specific, case specific, or modular furnitures, which will be different in use, and people will love it. To have different combinations. In fact, here you can see the concrete into flexible textile. Some time back, it was very viral on WhatsApp. You can see how this cap and how this carpet, foldable concretes that can be done. So decorative concretes can be used in the interiors also extensively. And in fact, even if you have major structure or smaller light post or table lamp, you can just play the things. You can just see how the inside bar is to hold this, and then you can have some kind of a pedestal and plate bottom, and then make it stable, and you can play with the color concrete and cubes. It's very simple but very attractive, which can be done as an experimentation, and then you can use it for the mass scale. So here you can see the facade systems, because color concrete is playing very vital role. You can create these kind of models and use as a railing, use as a jali, because earlier you used to do the jalis, and which was the common earlier, because in between we lost it because of the common spaces like balconies we never had. We had very less verandas, but due to pandemic, with this 1.5 years, again it taught us that we should have some kind of a outdoor space, some kind of an indoor space, for some kind of an intermediate space. Because if you go out, if lockdown is there, people will be. If you come inside, if you don't have spaces, then the time will be. So better to have some kind of an intermediate system where you have jali to protect from the sun rays and all, and at the same time wind should come, at the same time proper ventilation inside. So this kind of a jalis you can do. In fact, friends, you can have different varieties of concrete shells. Just see the shells, how the shell development is there. You can definitely go for these kinds of shells in concrete, which can be structural concrete, but at the same time architectural or decorative concrete. This is the need of the hour. And in fact, you can see the 3D printing as a repeating 3D printing twice as fast, because this is again the need of the hour, where you can have the hybrid system. May not be totally 3D printed, but you can have some kind of elemental 3D printing and combine this, and we can achieve this. Friends, whichever we see as excited for eyes, naturally we keep that in mind. These are all striking concrete buildings, which are once you see, it will be impressed in our mind for some time. And the color will place that maybe Hoover Dam, that maybe this particular structure. Naturally, this conceptualization plays a vital role, and the usage of material also plays a vital role. That's whether it's a concrete garden products, or whether it's for a fire pit, whether it's for even pots. It's very important to have the usage. In fact, here you can see somebody who leftover concrete car parking tiles he has put on the table, but this looks good. In fact, the same things he used using some kind of a cementitious material for pots. How beautiful idea. So even though you are providing concrete tiles or concrete material, that has to be transformed like a use of a cloth. When you are supplying a cloth of different variety, the tailor made, design made, we can use this entirely different. So somebody just use this made balls, and he thrown in the. These are all artificial pebbles or artificial elements, like normally used pebbles. So here we can have the even colored concrete and very simple uses. Here, friends, you can see the concrete walkway. The moment you see, you may be thinking that this is three-dimensional. No, this is not three-dimensional. The way the pattern they form is three-dimensional. But when you see from the first floor or second floor from the distance, you will feel that the cubes are placed there. So that is what the beauty of the things. When you walk, it's two-dimensional. When you see, it's three-dimensional. That is the beauty of the design. And here you can see the 3D printed columns. As I said, may not be totally 3D printed structure, but you can have elements 3D printed, and then you can go for the different kind of things. Many innovations focus on the reduction of the cement in the concrete mixtures. Here, this biorespective concrete, you can develop it, where Zaha Hadid uses it's right from the indoor spaces to outdoor spaces. You can just think of that. In fact, GRC is going to be very soon, new normal again, glass fiber reinforced concrete, where the facades, because if you have seen tall structure, they are having second skin. Now the second skin is nothing but the lightweight concrete panels or some kind of aluminum and all. So long lasting is lighter facades in GFRC. So GFRC also can be developed in the colleges first, and that can be used in the facades or buildings. Here Zaha Hadid again, she uses, why I'm giving example of Zaha Hadid is she uses extensively the challenges forms, which is a real challenge for the executors, real challenge for the building services people, and above all, very, very big challenge for the structural engineers and material scientists. So once you achieve it, so that credit goes to naturally everyone. The architectural concrete, as I said, commercial things, and then just to before we sum up, we must understand where this concrete application basically in the architectural form, how to go about it. Then these applications of commercial, residential, and then you can say educational, transportation, and then facades, parking garages, and then so many other varieties you can just think of, so that what happens is, as I said, some kind of non-building elements. So non-building elements are what? Non-building structures, that may be tunnels, that may be bridges, that may be airports, which are publicly used. So where the concrete is used, right from the non-structural elements to the structural elements, we must understand the requirements of the system, and then you can go for the usage of that. In fact, concrete surface finishings, where to have this particular pattern, the form work, the process, the making, the supervision is very important. In fact, can you see, this is a natural rock, and these things are made with artificial rock, what is concrete. So combination, the composition of the natural with the architectural concrete, with the geometry of the, even though these newly developed things are straight, the combination is different. So this is what excited, this is what the new normal of the design, what people are liking now. In fact, the structural geometry, this is the reverse pyramid. Now we have seen the pyramid reverse. So here, how this particular thing can be done, and how the spaces inside can be utilized, how these water bodies can be created, that is the challenges task. So here the collaboration comes with the scientists, and then academicians, the people those who are involved in this. In fact, today the outdoor spaces, because as you said, as we were saying, in the pandemic period, the air conditioning spaces are very less now. They are going to sit in the open spaces. They are going to have non-conditions, non-air conditions. So conditioned spaces to unconditioned spaces. Then we need to have outdoor furniture, outdoor atmospheric conditions, resistive furniture. So here these things can be really developed, which are again liked by the people. And the latest trend is the reskinning of the buildings. So earlier you saw, even if you see the rail liam, which was having a very traditional design, they have enclosed with the glass. Now everything they are wrapping with the glass. So I think the glass again we are going back to the passive architecture or passive method of thermal insulation. Here you can see the old building is inside. The outside they have developed this concrete blocking, and they have done with facade, which is again new one. So it's like a enclosing the existing building with the required thermal efficiencies and all, and you can make this shaping of concrete facades. This is what the people they have achieved it, and because of this is the modular, they can cast it, they can fix it. So how the joints will work, how the detailing is work, that we have to understand. And this particular thing, Frank Gehry's, it's not like a regular format. It's like a parametric design. The parametric design is so complex, but it can be achieved with the form technology. If you come up with the proper form and proper placement, proper curing, proper quality of making of the concrete, definitely this long-lasting and eye-catching and impressive excited forms can be developed, which is the need of the hour. In fact, this particular gallery, you can see inside we have glass, and outside these elements, these forms, they are giving the shading, at the same time excited facade, which is again iconic. So this is what we need. And here you can see this left side, this is the fabric, and some kind of fabric modulations they are doing, some kind of a fabric models they are doing, and the same forms they are creating in the concrete. So this is what the actual thing is. So the form making is also very important while you use decorative concrete other than finishes. Here you can see how these three-dimensional effect. In fact, two-dimensional surface to three-dimensional, so that to embossing, engraving to the embossing. So here, an old factory renovated into a private exhibition space without disturbing inside. They just added this outer shell, and then that attracted the whole of a civic society. So that's what it became the key point and highlight of that particular city and all. In fact, before we wind up, here you can see all glass boxes, all the regular structures, but this particular, Hunters Point Library, which is a community devoted space with the scenic skyscraper backdrop. So whether this is highlighted, the entire backdrop. So that drop became backdrop. So that is what we can achieve with the concrete. And it's a very simple structure, combination of the steel structure and the concrete facade. You can see how that is being developed. It's a steel structure with the concrete panelings, and then the end product, you can see this is one of the beautiful structure as per me when it comes to the concrete facade in recent times to have that possible. Friends, concrete is affordable and economical. Concrete is local. Concrete is fire resistant. Concrete can be shaped. Concrete is strong and durable. With all the benefits and value of the concrete, it is no surprise that concrete is a favorite material in architecture and in construction. No doubt that is made by you, that is researched by you, that is developed by you, that is tested at your institution, and that particular thing makes us to use beyond imagination. Because you can see this is one of the designers' perception to use this kind of a thing in other form, maybe alien planet. So is this possible? Yes, this is possible. It's a virtual thing, but you can develop it. Concrete has been used in the construction, not now, right from the Roman spaces. So do you think that the decorative concrete is new or architectural concrete is new? No, architectural concrete is as old as architecture itself. So traditionally, how that was used, for me, Coliseum, here the concrete was used extensively, which is beyond my imagination. And if you see this particular the world's largest Pantheon concrete dome, this is beyond imagination. Just imagine the surfaces. It's not painted. It's not any processed or cladded. This is a natural concrete that they used years and a few years back. This is the Hoover Dam where the white concrete was used. Then here you can see the Panama Canal, which is constructed waterway that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans across the Isthmus of Panama. This particular thing is, for me, beyond imagination. In fact, you can see this hangar. In 1921 they could do in concrete. So this is exposed. I can say this is the exposed concrete. In fact, you can see many buildings in Hyderabad. If you go to ICRISAT, there they have sound about 40 to 50, 60 years old, in par with Chandigarh buildings, designed by German architects and with the local support. They used that exposed concrete at that time, and still it is having that. Naturally, the present day, we can see the structures which are again beyond imagination. So world's tallest residential building, or world's tallest tall structure, building, which is Burj Khalifa, which is again a miracle, and due to the structural system for structural forms, which is in concrete. The optimization level is more, the uses of the maximum floors are more in this particular Burj Khalifa, again, which is beyond imagination. And normally there is no conclusion for the concrete, isn't it? So the presentation. So, but to sum up, and decorative concrete structure is a human-made construction simultaneously driven by aesthetic and engineering consideration. Such a construction can be viewed as structural art. So that is what I name it. And then it is the medley between the aesthetic and the performance functionality of structures that creates a seamless architectural melody, whether an architect or a structural engineer, or both the inevitable sides of the same coin have to be considered while designing. Friends, if the aesthetic bring in appeal to the concrete structure, then its functionality is the grammar. And the striving for excellence in both will create the right elegance, the architecture that looks good and performs better, leading to the concrete application, especially decorative concrete, which is beyond imagination. But you can imagine, and application of prospects of the decorative concrete in modern structures go beyond your imagination, come out of your box thinking, and then create the new generation which you are producing in the form of the teaching. I think the coming out generation will be in par with the thoughts of the architects, because today we hear that the people who are the students which are coming out of the colleges, because I am from the industry, I hear regularly that they are not employable. Leave about that, they should be more than employable. They should be serving the society, not serving themselves. They have to come out to serve the society with the better civic sense. And today the requirement is the housing. Today we have the requirement, the infrastructure, which is again beyond imagination. So scope is good. My dear faculty, please integrate, because this kind of a presentation may be different other than your regular, regular descriptive formulas, tables, charts. But this kind of a requirement is outside, where I am connecting those formulas with the requirement and giving the product. This is one of the proposals which was given by us in the Amaravati area, using latest methodologies. In fact, material-wise, all types of materials and technologies, I don't know whether it comes or not, but the thing can be done when you bring the people right from the day one across the table, do a lot of workshops before you finalize the conceptualization, before you really send to the structural planning, before you really send from the structural planning to the structural designer, and then tendering, and then go to the execution, and then naturally after handing over maintenance and operation. Friends, if you balance these all 5 elements like Mahapanchabhutas, our job is done. Our satisfaction level will be going high. That's what my presentation is. And then thanks a lot. And then thanks for the opportunity to OU for giving me opportunity again to the interacting to the faculty members and friends. Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for such an enlightening session with valuable insights. Sir has provided his email ID in the slide he has shown. Participants can put their queries in there and directly ask their questions to sir through the mail ID he has provided. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have our next session at 12 o'clock. The link will be posted by 11:45.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. We request the participants to fill the Google form also prior before they join the Zoom meeting. Thank you.